and you're tuned to YouTube.com. You're watching Wacked Out Wednesday. My name is Nate the Great Wieland. I'm on the right side of your screen. Allan Perez is on the left. Let's go, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned to Wacked Out Wednesdays. I'm your host, Allan Perez, and here's my co-host, Nate the Great Wieland. And today we're going to be interviewing Nate the Great.
You're flipping the scale on me today, huh?
I am. We're going to flip it on you. Now we get to see and talk about the man behind the mic.
The man behind the mic, I like that.
So we get to talk about Nate the Great today. We're going to interview him, ask him about his life, what he's done with his life so far, how he got to this point, and where he sees the future. Basic interview questions like that.
There you go.
Hopefully, stay tuned, and hopefully we'll learn a little bit about you.
Oh, there we go. My voice is normal again. Semi-normal.
Semi-normal. Well, let's hope by the end of this it'll be back to it.
There you go. Yeah, sorry about the horsey, raspy voice, folks. I had a pretty eventful weekend this weekend because the Broncos, they ended up winning the Super Bowl. I told my friends they were going to win the Super Bowl, and they didn't believe me. So I told them, I said, you know what? The Broncos are going to win because there's no way that Peyton Manning is going to lose in his last game. Apparently he's retiring. I don't know.
Apparently.
But there was no way that the Broncos were going to lose this game, and I was right. I told my friends they're going to win, and hey, I was right. So congratulations to the Broncos, and congratulations to Peyton Manning. And I believe this is now his second Super Bowl victory. I'm not too sure about that, but I think it's his second. If I'm wrong, correct me next time. Either it's the second or his third because Eli now has two, so that would be his brother.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Broncos.
Yeah.
All right, so do you want to get started?
You know what? Yeah, let's get started here. Folks, I don't have a question for the day for you today. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
But you know what? Allan has lots of questions of the day for me,
I have
right?
lots of questions for you.
Yeah.
So why don't we get started?
All right,
Nate, you've been... How old are you? Let's start with that.
I am 23. I just turned 23 on the 22nd of January. So that was Friday. That was on a Friday. So what was really interesting was that Monday, I ended up telling my professor, Kim Duran, that because she asked, how's your weekend or whatever, right? So I told him, I said, my weekend was good. I had my birthday weekend, right? And she's like, oh, okay, how nice, right? So she goes, you know what? I'm gonna get the class to sing happy birthday to you. And I said, no, you don't have to do that. So she said, okay. So she had the class sign happy birthday to me. It was really interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, cool. You know what? That was probably one of the best post-birthday celebrations I've had. That's actually having somebody sign happy birthday
to you. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's
really interesting. That's been really special.
It was really fun. I enjoyed it. I'm going to remember that for a long, long time.
Awesome, great. Okay, so you're 23 years old. Where did you grow up, basically? Where were you born? What's that?
Where I was born, Tracy, California. I was born in Tracy. So my family and I lived in the San Joaquin Valley prior to me being born, and then I ended up being born, obviously, and we ended up living in Lathrop because I was born in Tracy. We ended up living in Lathrop from what was that? Probably like 1 to 3 years old, somewhere around there. And then when I turned, I think it was 4 or 5, I'm not too sure about that. When I turned around there, we ended up moving to a little town called Ripon, which is not far from here. You got Manteca, Salida, Ripon, and then Modesto, I think.
Yeah, just up the road.
Yeah, just literally up the road here. And we lived in a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. It's a small house. I loved it. I went by there the other day and I thought to myself, man, that house looked a lot bigger from when I was younger. I remember we used to have a basketball hoop in the driveway that we actually put in there. We dug the hole, put it in the ground, poured concrete around it, and it's been there. It's still there. And we built a fence, kind of like a double-doored fence that used to swing out because the garage used to be in the back of the property.
Oh, I see.
So we built the fence, and it's still there today. Me and my dad built that fence. Man, I remember that fence. I used to climb over that fence all the time and used to go, man, I am Superman climbing over the fence.
Very nice. It's funny you bring up the tire thing. We actually did a similar thing like that when I was growing up. We got a tire, really big tire, filled it with cement, put a really big pole in it. We
Yep.
built our makeshift basketball hoop.
Yeah.
I feel like that's everybody's project that everyone has to do at some point. You have to make a makeshift.
Yeah, there you go.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So, how long did you live in Tracy for?
Oh man, like I said, I was born in Tracy, so I don't really remember much. But we lived in Lathrop
In Lathrop. Okay.
from 1 to 3 years old, I think, somewhere around there. And then we moved to Ripon from either 4 or 5, somewhere around there. And then I spent 5 or 6 years there. I think I was 10 or 11 when we actually ended up having to leave in the same situation that you did. You guys left here to go to San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
So we left here, Ripon, and we moved to a little town called Folsom, California, which is over in Sacramento, which is over by Sacramento, about an hour and 15 minutes away from here, up north. I spent my entire teenhood and early adult years in Folsom, and then I ended up turning 22. Well, actually, no. When I turned 21, we moved down here to Manteca, and then I ended up turning 22 and 23 in this in Manteca. So we've been all over the place. Like you were, you said you're a product of both worlds. Well, I'm basically a product of both worlds. I was over up north. I was down here. I was up north. Now I'm back down here.
But still around the same general area.
But still around the same general area. Yeah.
So Ripon, Folsom, Manteca.
Yep.
Right around the same area. Okay, that's pretty.
Yeah.
That's so you have been all over the place. You've been just like up, really much up the road. It's like you went up.
Yeah.
You know, Tracy, and then you went to Ripon.
I went
and
straight
to
up.
Manteca.
And then I turned around and came straight back down.
Well, that's interesting. Cool. So, where'd you go to high school?
Oh, I went to high school, Vista del Lago High School. Do you see on my class ring there?
I do. I see that. Where is that located? Was that in Manteca? Was that Folsom?
No, Vista del Lago is located. It is located in Folsom. I was the. Did I get this right? I think I was the second or third. No, I was the second. I was the second 4-year graduating class. So the class before me obviously graduated. The first class before me, which really wasn't a technical first 4-year graduation. They only graduated. They did their junior and their senior year at Vista, so you can't say a first 4-year graduating class. So technically, I was the first 4-year graduating class. But that's just my secret. Don't tell anybody about that. But I ended up going to high school over in Sacramento, Folsom. I live like 5 minutes from the school, like literally 5 minutes from the school. So I used to walk from when I was a freshman. I used to walk, freshman and sophomore. I used to walk up the hill into my school. And man, I tell you what, that walk, every dang day, that walk got harder and harder going up the hill. Because I had my bike, and it was difficult to walk a bike uphill.
So you got off the bike and you walked it up. You didn't.
I didn't try to pedal it.
Okay.
No, man. My legs felt like they were on fire after that.
Oh, okay.
And I got some pretty strong legs after that, man.
Looks like it.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but and then I got my license in my junior year, I said, away with the bike, let's get a car. So I got a car, man, and I tell you what, it seemed a lot quicker in a car. Obviously it does than it did on the bike, because on the bike it would take you maybe 20 minutes to get up there, and the car would take 2.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't having a car awesome?
Having a car
what normally would take a long time takes like that.
Yeah.
And then you can stop wherever you want. So there's no multiple stops like you do in like public transportation.
Yeah.
If you want to go to 5 different places, you can do it all in 20 minutes.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. So then I graduated high school in 2012. Actually, I graduated high school in 2011. In December of 2011 is when I got my, you're done with school, because I graduated early, which was really fun. I liked that.
Oh, cool.
So I graduated early in 2011, and I went back in May or June. I have to think about that. May or June of 2012, and I actually walked with my class. That's when I received my diploma, a little 8x10 saying, congratulations, you can graduate from high school or whatever. And I had the option of walking with my class. You could do it or not. So I said, yeah, why not? I'll do it. I had nothing else to lose at that point, so I said, yeah, let's do it. So I ended up walking with my class, ended up doing the tassel thing and tossing the hat in the air and catching it and doing all that, so that was fun. But right after I graduated high school in 2011, I started in January with college, like that.
Oh.
So I started college at Folsom Lake College. I spent 2011 and 2012 there. No, 2011, 11, 12, and 13 there. So because we moved in 14. So I spent 3 years there. Didn't do anything there. I don't know why.
So you started community college.
Yes,
You
community
finished
college, Folsom
high
Lake
school.
College, yeah.
What did you think about Folsom Lake College? Or, like, what was that like? It's obviously different than here at
Right,
FFC,
yeah.
Because I feel like every community college that I've ever been to,
It's a little, yeah.
has always been different. So what was Folsom like?
Oh, Folsom Lake was it was good. I liked it. It was very unique and very different from this school because there's some things that are similar. Excuse me, like the theaters.
Yeah.
The theater, I believe they have 3 theaters in the theater building over here at MJC. Folsom Lake has the same thing. It's got a big theater, a little small theater, and then like a black box theater, which barely holds like 50 people.
Right.
And so that's we were talking about how I seen The Color Purple there last week, and that's where I actually ended up going and seeing The Color Purple was at Folsom Lake.
Oh.
So Folsom Lake didn't have a lot of the classes that I was wanting. I was wanting more communication style classes, like the ones we're in right now. And so they didn't have that. So I was basically doing any class I could do to fulfill some kind of requirement for transfer to UC or CSU. And I did that. I did it for, like I said, 3 years. Got a lot of the units out of the way, but I didn't. I wasn't able to do my major classes that I needed. So it just so happens that we were moving, and it just so happens that I could choose either Delta or Modesto, Delta Junior College and Modesto Junior College. So I chose Modesto just because, I'm familiar with the area.
Oh.
Stockton, I don't know about Stockton, but Delta, Delta is good. I like Delta. My friends went to Delta, but I decided to go to MJC because, they had a lot of communication classes that I wanted. And they had, before I knew that the radio station and the TV station was defunct, they had the radio station and TV station. So that's what attracted me to MJC there. And then I found out it was defunct, so I went, oh, okay. So
It's been a disappointment.
yeah, it was a disappointment, but hey, you know what? At least I'm doing something I like doing, which is filming the basketball games, football games, and volleyball games, which football and volleyball will be in the fall. And then, hey, I'm doing radio with you right now, so. And we're also doing video again for the 2nd week in a row, so.
We are, we got to make opportunity where there is none.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
We hope you enjoyed the first half of this show, folks. We're going strong, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to finish up with Nate the Great in just a second. But now, let's go to the second half of the show.
And welcome back to Wacked Out Wednesdays. I am your host, Allan Perez, and with me today is Nate the Great Wieland. And today we're interviewing Nate the Great Wieland.
Yes, you are. Actually, your name is not Allan Perez. It's Allan the Adonis.
It's Allan the Adonis Perez, the nickname that we sort of picked out for me, just sort of stuck after.
Sort of picked out for me.
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of picked out for. Well, yeah. You know what? Did we both pick it, or did you pick it?
I just picked it and threw it out there randomly, but we just sort of stuck with it. So, so that's my nickname, and we're going to keep with it. Unless I get tired of it, and then we'll choose something else.
We'll choose something else, yeah.
Okay, so, Nate, we were talking about you before we went on break, but before we get back to talking about you, we got some announcements we need to make.
Yes, we do. Next week, folks, we are going to be interviewing our former professor, Todd Guy. He's been here at MJC for a long time. Probably about, what, did he say 20 or something years?
20-something years, yeah, since 1993 or 94, I believe. I was looking through the old catalogs, as I mentioned back last show, I believe, and Todd Guy's first hired year was 1993.
Yeah, so he's been here for 23 years. So, tune in for that next week. And also, we were talking about how we were videoing again last week and this week. So we're going to be coming up with a YouTube channel in a couple of weeks so you can watch the whole entire episode on video in its entirety at some point in time, so stay tuned for that. So, now the announcements are out of the way, let's get back with me.
Let's get back to you. Okay, so we were talking about you coming to MJC when we last left off. Nate made it to MJC. He had a choice between Delta and Modesto Junior College, and he chose Modesto Junior College because he thought there was going to be a radio program.
Yeah.
Turns out there wasn't, but here you are. Here you are now, at least taking the classes that you need. So, on the topic of the major of communications, because that's both our majors, why did you choose communications and not like something else? Why communications specifically?
Well, it has a lot to do with high school, actually. I took a media class in high school in my sophomore year, and I didn't like it at first. I thought it was stupid. I thought communications and media is kind of stupid. But secretly inside, I've always wanted to do media. So I've always watched the news and went, man, I want to be them someday.
So you said it was stupid. Why did you believe it was stupid, or why did you feel as though media was stupid?
Well, because you there's a lot of things that is involved in media. You have to write scripts. You have to write teasers. You know what a teaser is. Mm-hmm. You have to edit film. You have to film. You have to do all that, and that's a lot. That was a lot for me at the time when I was a sophomore.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. So I was like, I don't want to do a lot of work. So then I ended up taking a communication class, and I ended up actually toward the end of the semester, I ended up loving it. You know, it flipped on me. I was like, you know what? I love it. I don't want to stop doing this. So my sophomore, junior, and senior year, actually my junior and senior year, I started going out and filming the different sports, you know, the basketball, the football, the baseball. Actually, the baseball was kind of boring, but the basketball and the football were my two main ones that I filmed. I filmed more football than basketball. And then I just fell in love with it. I started doing more of it. And then when I came to MJC, I spent two semesters here so far. Hey, they're clapping for me.
They're clapping for you. See, that's applause for you.
Yeah. So I spent 2 semesters here before this one, and I finally ended up figuring out how to film basketball games. So I ended up talking to the athletic director. He gave me the A-OK, and I went, sweet, let's do it. So I started doing the basketball, and I love it. The team loves it. Man, I'm like a celebrity here in MJC, man. A lot of people come up to me and go, hey, do you film the basketball games? Yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
So,
well, that's great.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I can't help but draw a lot of parallels between what you've been doing and what I've been doing back at San Jose. I learned a lot through radio broadcasting, and even there, you know, we got to know a lot of the school, got to know the baseball teams, because we had our big sport at San Jose City College was baseball, ladies baseball especially. Softball. Softball, actually. The Lady Jags at our school, they were really big in the division. They were actually beat MJC.
Really?
They went to go play. MJC actually came to our school and played against them, and they lost. And they were really good. They're a good division.
Did you ever think that maybe someday you'd be going to MJC?
You know what? I thought so. I was like, wow, look, it's MJC. I'm probably going to end up there. And I ended up coming back.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting experience, and it was good to hear about yours, which was, you know, what drew you into broadcasting and communications as a whole. That's really interesting. So what are your plans? So after Modesto Junior College, do you plan on transferring to a specific school, and if so, what exactly do you want to do afterwards?
Well, when I get my AAT, which is my Associate of Arts transfer degree in Communication Studies, I plan to either transfer to Sac State or Stanislaus State, depending on which one accepts me. You know. Mm-hmm. And from there, I look to get my Bachelor's of Arts in Communication Studies with an emphasis in journalism, broadcast journalism, to be exact. So, you know, I can get a chance to actually do what I love doing best in real life, real time.
Yeah. So why Sacramento? Is there a reason for Sacramento, or just because it's just there?
Well, I miss Sacramento. It's home. You know, that's where I grew up. So that's probably a reason why. The reason why is because they have a radio station. They have their own radio station there. I forgot the name of it, but they have their own radio station there.
I don't think I've listened to it. Because I've listened to San Jose, I mean, no, not San Jose, that was back in the Bay Area. I listened to Stanislaus' radio station. They actually do have one, too. They have one that broadcasts locally over there, over by Turlock.
Oh.
And they play, like, independent stuff, and mostly their sports games. But so they have one, but I never knew Sacramento had one. So
Yeah.
that's sort of why you want to go back?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I want to go back to Sac State. Another reason is because they offer a good communication program, just as same as Stanislaus State does.
Mm-hmm.
And little did I know this, now that you told me that they have radio stations, so, it makes it harder for me to choose between the two. Thanks, Allan.
Well, I think Sacramento State's is more pronounced than Stanislaus. I think Stanislaus has one, but it's kind of a small thing. But I'm hoping by the time that I get there, I can shake things up a little, maybe start playing more. Because one thing I really wanted to do, I'm going to go off on me for a second if you don't mind.
No.
One thing that I wanted to do when I transferred over to Stanislaus State was I would go back into the radio business right over there at their school, and I was hoping to just start playing music in the Bay Area. College radio is huge. It's like there's an actual presence. You can hear that all over the city, all over the Bay Area. And here I noticed it's not as big, so I was hoping to go over there and just liven it up a bit.
There you go,
really make it a bigger thing and sort of bridge the gap between the Bay Area stuff and here in the Central Valley. I think if we can bridge the gap and make it just as big, it'd be a really cool revolutionary thing.
Hey, we can do it, man. We can start that revolution.
We definitely could. I would love to hear at like midnight all the techno, eclectic stuff that I heard in the Bay Area. It was a trip, really.
Yeah,
it was really interesting, fun music that I don't think we hear enough of over here.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
okay. So you're gonna choose. You're planning on going to Stanislaus or maybe Sacramento. That's really interesting. So putting aside school for a second. What's something that you're doing now that you haven't really talked about before? You're doing you're videotaping the games here at MJC. You're doing the show. You're doing the video recordings. What's something else that you hope to do besides that? Is there anything else you have in mind? Anything else?
What I do hope to do eventually is do my own kind of like my own business.
Your own business.
Trying to think of the actual word to say. I mean, it's kind of sort of in production right now. It's called MJC Sports Highlights, and we have no affiliation with Modesto at all. And it's just me. So if anybody wants to join, be my guest. But if you want to join, Alan, be my guest. But it's just me, and I hope to do that. I hope to do that business on the side to earn a little more income, obviously. But that's what I want to do, something like that. And be independent, an independent business before I'm involved in a major business.
I see. Okay. All right. So we're getting close to the end here. So I like to end usually on something pretty hilarious to ask an interviewer. That's what I learned back in San Jose.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you like any final thoughts if you have
All
any.
right, yeah.
So my question for you is, what's the last guilty pleasures thing you bought yourself?
Man.
Like, what is something that you splurged on that you didn't need it, you didn't need to have it,
man.
or really even want it, but you just bought it anyways. What's something that you got for yourself? What's the last thing that you bought that was a little self-indulgent?
Well, you and I, you know that I like to buy a lot of T-shirts like these. I ended up going and buying like 5 or 6 of them a couple months ago, and I don't know why I did. I just did. I was like, you know what? I like these. We're gonna stick with them.
Awesome. So where'd you buy them?
I bought them at International Imports in Modesto.
In Modesto Vintage Fair.
Yeah.
I buy a lot of my shirts there too.
Yeah.
There and Hot Topic actually.
Yeah, there you go too.
Okay, so we're getting close to the end. Any final thoughts?
You know what? If anybody wants to do something like I'm doing, stick with it, man. It's gonna be hard at first, but stick with it.
Stick with it. That's your final thoughts.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me, Alan. Thank you for interviewing me today.
It was a pleasure.
See you with a handshake. All right, folks. See you next week at 6 p.m. We're going to start broadcasting this. We'll be putting it up at 2, but we'll be putting it up at 6 as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week Todd Guy's interview.
Todd Guy, that'll be interesting.
Yes, it will be. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thanks, Alan. We'll
problem.
see you next week, guys. Take care. Stay classy, not trashy, and be kind and rewind that DVD, even though you can't rewind it.
You can't rewind DVDs. Yeah?
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Wacked Out Wednesday. Please tune in next time. Same channel, same time. Stay classy, not trashy. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.